Hello, candle lovers. Thanks for tuning in to me today. My name is Greg. This is all about candles. I have a review for you today from Homeworx, and this is Sea Salt Lavender. Man, nobody does a photographic wraparound label better than Homeworx. Although, I have been seeing, I have been seeing that some of their more recent releases have not been looking so spiffy all of the time, but I think that this one looks gorgeous. This candle is a repurchase for me, Sea Salt and Lavender. This is probably the third time that I've burned it. This kind of floral is just right up my alley. I think that Homeworx, Harry Slatkin, I think that they do a great job over there with their floral fragrances. Isn't it interesting how some candle companies really excel at certain genres of fragrance and some really don't excel at certain genres of fragrance? I definitely think that floral fragrances are a big strength for Homeworx, kind of in the same way that, I think that Goose Creek really excels at vanilla fragrances and gourmand fragrances. I think Village Candle really is great at amazing fruit fragrances. I think that Bath and Body Works is pretty good at everything, but not excellent at anything. I actually think that Bath and Body Works does a great job with their woodsy fragrances. I love their mahogany candles. I love their Palo Santo fragrance. But yeah, anyways, Homeworx is great at florals, and I've been burning a lot of florals from Homeworx this spring, and I've kind of just been wrapping them up. I'm also burning Lily of the Valley right now as well. I started burning this candle a while ago, and I've been kind of treating it like chocolate, just bringing it out every once in a while. I absolutely love this fragrance. This is their 4-wick format. They're 18 ounces, and they say that they burn for 30 to 55 hours. I think that number mostly depends on how long you burn it for. If you're gonna burn it for really long periods at a time, you're probably gonna get less hours out of it than you would if you just were to burn it for a couple hours at a time. However, I do find that the Homeworx 4-wick formats, you gotta be planning on burning them for at least like 2 or 3 hours to get them to pool out properly. Anyways, I'll speak more to that when we get to performance. Let's talk a little bit about this fragrance. It's a really lovely one. We've got a scent story for it up on the Homeworx website. It says, sea salt air gently caresses aromatic lavender from Provence, fragrant blue sage, and seagrass, creating a fresh seaside moment. We got a bunch of scent notes. The top notes are Provence lavender, salt air, and blue sage. The middle notes are, it just says Mediterranean, bergamot, sea glass, and thyme leaf. And the bottom notes are sun-bleached woods and moss. Oh man, I just love this fragrance. This is probably one of my favorite fragrances from Homeworx. It's just lovely. It is a fairly strong and sharp lavender note. It's not one of those super duper like soft lavender fragrances. It's definitely one of the more stern lavender fragrances, but I really, really enjoy it because it doesn't really go soapy, which I think is quite the achievement considering that it's kind of like this sea salt, like briny, airy lavender fragrance. But it doesn't get into sort of like a linen territory or a cashmere territory or a soapy territory. It's really, really lovely. It's very airy. It is quite salty. And the blue sage note on top of this, I love blue sage. Blue sage is a little bit of a softer and sweeter fragrance than like white sage is. Oh, I just think that this one is fabulous. It does smell very like beachy and salty and a little bit aquatic. It's not super duper like oceanside floral, but you definitely pick up on like that briny, sort of slightly watery, but kind of more ozonic quality in there. Nice sharp lavender fragrance on top. Yeah, and in the base, you do pick up on something a little bit mossy. There's just a little bit of a deep sort of green funkiness in the base note of this fragrance. Overall, it's a fairly like highly pitched fragrance. It's quite top heavy, but I think that it's nicely balanced out with the other stuff that's happening in here. Just lovely. I think that this might be one of my favorite lavender candles that's out there. I burn one almost every spring. I think I get a sea salt lavender. I really, really, really enjoy it. We had beautiful blue wax on here. It doesn't look so pretty anymore, but it did look really nice. This was a really good, nice, clean burn for the most part. I was getting those like annoying, crooked, like a lot of people are calling them like grasshopper leg wicks. This definitely suffered from that a little bit, and you definitely had to let it burn for a really long period of time. I think I took some pictures or some videos to sort of show you how weird and frail and fragile and crooked these wicks do get, and that's my biggest frustration probably with Homeworx candles. Not all of them are like that, but this one definitely was. Like, you're always just worried about those wicks. They're so frail, and Homeworx says that you don't need to trim their wicks, that they're self-trimming. That's really not my experience. I just take off like the sort of hard, like bulbous carbon part at the tip of the wick. I just slice those off. If you don't slice any of the wick off before you light it, it immediately will just start like puffing soot out. So I do find that you need to take off just the very, very top of these wicks. And you know, I'm always like trying to straighten them. After I blow the candle out, they're practically leaning sideways. So I'm trying to straighten those wicks out with my wick dipper, but they seem so frail. I'm always worried I'm gonna like screw them up. I'd say that dealing with the wicks on Homeworx candles has kind of become the biggest sticking point with me for them. That and strength and throw. This candle didn't have a problem with strength and throw, but my two biggest qualms with Homeworx usually are the weird wicks and the lack of strength and throw. This one performed really well. I'd say that in my more open space, this easily got up to like a 6 for strength and throw, maybe even a 6.5. I'll give it a 6.5 in my more open space because I could always tell that it was there. I could tell that it was lit. It had a nice presence to it. I could pick up the different levels of fragrance in it, even in a more open area. When I put it in the bedroom, it was getting up to a solid 7 for sure. Now keep in mind that this is after having burnt it for like 3 or 4 hours. These are not like Bath and Body Works or Goose Creek candles where you light them up and within like a half hour to 45 minutes you've got good strength and throw going. I found this candle took quite a while to pool out. I don't even think it would pool out completely most of the time until I had already been burning it for at least 2 hours. So I'd say that on average, I burn this candle for probably like 4 hours, maybe even 5 hours at a time. And I do appreciate when you can burn a candle for that long without it giving you any problems. This burned really, really nice and cleanly. I burned it all the way down till there was really nothing left on there. The wax is a little bit discolored, but it's clean, and the sides of the jar are really clean too. I never had any issues with soot coming off of it. None of that was ever a concern. The only concern were the weird little wicks and giving it enough time to pool out to start projecting the fragrance. Otherwise, I really like this candle. This is absolutely going to be a repurchase for me and a recommendation for you folks if you're into lavender floral fragrances and you don't mind a lavender that is a little bit on the more stern side. I love the word stern to describe certain fragrances because it's not necessarily a bad thing, just a little bit stern. You know, this was a nice, solid, and slightly stern lavender. Yeah, I really like it. I'm already looking forward to getting another one next spring and burning it. So yeah, no big complaints from me about sea salt and lavender by Homeworx. That's all I've got for you folks today. Thank you so much for joining me. You can follow me on Instagram at allaboutcandles and email your burning questions to allaboutcandles@gmail.com. If you could hit me up with a like, a comment, subscribe to my channel, that would mean the world to me. Tomorrow's Saturday and I've got a big Bath and Body Works fall candle haul for you tomorrow, including the 4 new vanilla candles from Bath and Body Works. Well, one of them is like a returning. There's the Vanilla Romance, Vanilla Noir, Vanilla Ease, and Vanilla Cafe. as well as like the 2 brand new fall collections that just came out. I'm going to be going through all of those candles tomorrow on my Saturday haul, so stay tuned for that. And until next time, my dear gorgeous and beautiful candle loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, you guys. Bye for now.